Walking Dead Season 10, and this season I'm going to do individual episode recaps as we go because, the show is really good again. Obviously, if you haven't yet, watch my Season 9 recap to catch up, link in the description. But now let's get started with Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 1. The Good Guys Alliance is training all medieval style with phalanx structure and all that. If you've ever complained that the show doesn't have enough awesome zombie killing, well, here's the 15 minutes for you. And at the end, the story kicks off when Judith finds an abandoned Whisperer zombie mask. Apparently, no one has seen the Whisperers since last season. I guess they migrate during the winter. But now finding this mask washed up, is it from before or are they back? So a group goes out to look at the Whisperers, find out if they're actually back. Remember, they're in a tense Cold War kind of situation. Alpha marked the line of her territory that they cannot cross. If they do, she's to unleash this giant zombie herd that her people are controlling. Everyone agreed to respect this truce for now. They don't want to start trouble if they don't have to. Except for Aaron, who crosses right over the boundary line to take out these walkers. Aaron doesn't care. He's a bad boy now. He's all torn up because his boyfriends keep dying, especially Jesus last season hit him real hard. His character's come a long way. Remember in my Season 5 recap, I called him Nerdy Justin Timberlake. And now look at him. He's got crazy apocalypse beard and a fake metal arm. Next we check in on the baby crew. Rosita's had her baby, and Eugene is the awkward fourth wheel in this postmodern family. Because remember, Sadiq is the father, but it's Gabriel that Rosita's currently dating. Eugene seems to love the baby, though. He's doing all the actual parenting, while Rosita's just working out. Sadiq comes and helps out too, but he's having PTSD flashbacks to last season. Remember, when the Whisperers killed everyone for the heads on bike situation, Sadiq was there. They let him go to tell the story. A new doctor has apparently joined Alexandria. His name's Dante, and he's a real friendly guy. And this is a very strange scene because Sadiq is staring at his mouth. What I took away from that is that this guy's mouth reminds Sadiq of one of the Whisperer mouths the night they killed everyone. And it made me realize it's entirely possible that this guy could just be a Whisperer. So watch out for this guy murdering everyone later. Then we hang out with Lydia. She was Alpha's daughter of the Whisperers, but she's been taken in by Alexandria. It was all cool when she had Henry there to vouch for her, but now she's kind of all alone in this community and no one really trusts her. She talks to another outcast, Negan. Yes, he's growing tomatoes. Apparently, he's allowed out of his cell sometimes now. We don't know Negan's endgame yet, if he's playing a long con to seize power, or if he really is kind of just chilling. Back at Oceanside, there's a thing with the deaf girl, Connie, and her sister, Kelly. Apparently, Kelly's hearing is pretty sad, but Connie has actually survived incredibly well in the apocalypse, being deaf. She says it's not a disability, it's a superpower. And then who should show up but Mr. Daryl? Yeah, we were all shiny last season, and it looks like they're going that direction. Daryl's starting to learn some sign language to talk to her better. And then Carol comes home from a fishing trip. Yeah, after Henry's death, she was totally broken up and broke up with King Ezekiel. Seems like she's not ready to get back together yet. She and Daryl spend the day hanging out. These two have always been close friends. They make friendship bracelets now. Anyway, now we finally, the big explosion in the sky that started out this episode. Yeah, an old satellite is, crashing down to Earth. It starts a huge forest fire, which is a serious problem. It's all hands on deck to contain this thing. But the big tension is this crash is on the Whisperer side of the border. And it's like, well, any reasonable person would be, yeah, it's okay, you can cross to put out a fire. But the Whisperers aren't reasonable. Plus, a bunch show up, so there's more epic forest fire zombie killing. And the cool thing was, this scene was incredibly tense, because every single zombie, I was like, is that gonna be a Whisperer? Luckily, none of them were, so the gang saved the day. Since they're already on the Whisperer side of the border, Daryl and Carol decide to go check on the giant zombie herd that those were holding, and it's gone. Does that mean the Whisperers have moved on, just forgot about this place? No, it doesn't. Right then, as if she was watching the whole time, Alpha walks out and stares right at Carol. Oh, it's on. So there you have it. Walking Dead Season 10 has started. I'm very excited for this season. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to get weekly Walking Dead recaps, plus lots of other awesome ones. I'm Man of Recaps out. Welcome to the Recaps. This is the Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 2. This episode is all about the Whisperers. We get a big flashback to see Alpha and Beta's origin. Long story For short, they're both crazy. Normally I dislike it to stop the main storyline to go back and see some flashbacks, but I mean, we kinda do need to know what is up with these Whisperers. This episode title is We Are the End of the World, and yeah, it turns out that's the Whisperers' motto. They've got this whole cult-like situation where they are, ending the world on purpose. But let's get into the recap. First, see Alpha with her younger Lydia in the beginning days of them, I guess, learning to walk with the dead. It's actually such a cool concept, being able to just blend in with the zombies. Of course, the big rule is you can't scream or do anything that gives away that you're alive. They find some shelter and then find Beta. He's a big scary guy. He's still wearing a mask even though it's not a zombie head. Yeah, he just doesn't like people seeing his face. Perfect recruit for the Whisperers. Alpha and Beta kind of get along because they're both in this mind state of like, we have given up on the world and we want to be the dead because they don't feel anything. What's Alpha her name? She's like, the dead don't have, and that's kind of how it all starts. She calls him B because he's the big man, and then I'm A, obviously. Yeah, these two are perfect for each other because, he's such a big, strong guy, but he seems, very lost. He doesn't know what to do with himself. And Alpha is like super confident of, what they want to do. At one point, Alpha kills Walker in the smiley face t-shirt. That's the one that Beta, always wears under his clothing. Yeah, apparently it was someone very important to him, and he flips out for a while, but then she's like, hey, you don't have to leave him. You can just cut off his face, and boom, first zombie mask. I kind of thought they changed zombie masks, every month or something because it seems gross, but I guess you've been wearing this one since the beginning. Super stinky in the Whisperers camp, am I right? Then we're back in the present, and the Whisperers are on a mission to wrap up as many of the zombies as they can. They call them Guardians because, they keep them safe as they're walking with them. Apparently, there's these two sisters that are really good zombie herders, but turns out the one sister is the girl who's forced to abandon her baby last, and yeah, that kind of broke her. She's no longer committed to the Whisperer's code. They call her an uncommitted. Anyway, this sister's in big trouble. They might just kill her, but Alpha's like, yo, bring her to me in the tree where, she could just cry and I'll just pet her. Alpha shows her mercy here because she understands being a mother too. Turns out she told all the Whisperers she killed Lydia with her own two hands and didn't even shed a tear because she's so hardcore. But of course we know that let Lydia go, and Beta figures that out too. This might be a problem later. Anyway, the sisters committed again, but when they're out herding and the satellite crashes down, so yeah, we're happening during episode 1, she sees Walker with a baby harness and boom, it all comes flooding back and she just screams and attacks Alpha. This causes chaos. The zombies are all like, oh my god, who's alive? Who should we eat? In the end, her sister helps Alpha escape, sacrificing her sister. These people really do need names. And in fact, she gets one because she sacrificed her sister to save the pack, and Alpha anoints her Gamma. If you know the Greek alphabet, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, so she's number 3. That implies that this is kind of a big deal because if there was only Alpha and Beta ever before, this is really new, having a third commander. And Beta's definitely a little bit jealous of her. I love this.
Are you angry with me?
I feel nothing for you.
But in the end, Alpha and Beta reconnect. We've always wondered if they had a sexual relationship. Don't really think so. And at the end here, they chant their little motto, which is basically, because we're like the dead, we don't feel anything, and we are the end of the world. So what this means is that Alpha was never going to be content to let these communities live in peace. She was just biding her time, but she intends to destroy them. And right at the end, the stare down with Carol happens, so yeah, we're gearing up for big ol' Whisperers war. So there you have it, season 10, episode 2. Whisperers are weirdos and they stinky. Hit that subscribe button for weekly Walking Dead videos, plus lots of other great recaps. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Dead, Season 10, Episode 3. Now, there's nothing I hate more than when a series dedicates an entire episode to dream sequences and hallucinations. Walking Dead has maybe the worst example of this back in Season 3, I think, when Rick spends the entire episode after Lori dies talking to her on the... Luckily, this one's not as bad. It's just Carol, who's been sleep-deprived and popping pills, thinks she sees Henry. The other parts of the episode, I liked quite a bit, so let's dive into it. The opening sequence is super cool. They do this whole time countdown thing as multiple waves of zombies are sort of coming at Alexandria. Small groups at first, and our people take them out no problem, but as they start coming in larger waves, we're reminded dealing with a big horde of zombies is still pretty difficult. Especially when new waves keep coming every hour, it's wearing the group down. They are all getting sleep deprived. Finally, they're approached by Gamma, the new Whisperer's captain. She's like, oh, these zombies aren't actually us, and Alpha wants to meet. It's hard to say if she's telling the truth. Eugene points out that the satellite probably drew in zombies from all around the surrounding area, but also it's totally possible Alpha is sending these zombies at him, so, we'll see. Aaron is in charge of a zombie killing squad, and Gabriel tells him to take Negan with him. This is a big deal, actually giving Negan a weapon. Negan's done a great job of laying low, so much that Gabriel now kinda trusts him. But Aaron does not trust Negan. He's very much against this. This story in the episode I like a lot because of the cool power dynamic here. They only gave him a stick to fight zombies with, and when Negan picks up a crowbar, Aaron's all like, yo, no, you put that down. Negan does a great job of pushing the boundaries here. It's like, hey, how far will Aaron let me go? So when some zombies tackle him, Negan does not immediately help. Aaron's temporarily blinded. I thought the zombie just spit in his eyes, but I guess he had some flower juices growing on him. Aaron stumbles into the cabin where Negan is sitting, not revealing himself. I'm very excited to see where the Negan redemption arc goes this season. If he truly will, or if he'll just pretend to be redeemed, and then who knows. But in any case, for now, when some new zombies come, Negan does bust in there and save Aaron's life. Aaron being blinded, he's vulnerable. He's sort of forced to trust Negan at this point, and so Negan takes advantage of that. For the rest of the episode, he's holding the crowbar. Aaron can't say anything about it. Meanwhile, the main characters go to meet Alpha. Her group is creepy as always. She's like, look, I know you guys crossed the border to put out the fire, but it wasn't just then. I saw you guys cross during the winter storm last season and in episode 1 when you and Aaron went on the bridge. Where are these Whisperers watching everything, just like behind every single tree? She's like, hey, I can be reasonable. I'm not going to unleash my whole zombie horde just for this, but I am going to move the border up and take more land. Alpha versus Carol is the big dynamic this season. Carol hates her because she put Henry's head on a pike. In fact, she brought a gun gonna shoot her, but Michonne and Daryl stop her. That was the smart thing to do because, they couldn't provoke the retaliation of unleashing the giant nuclear option zombie horde. But it's still frustrating because Alpha's gotta go. On the way back, Carol spots a few Whisperers following them and shoots at them, chases them off. The group goes to look for him, but doesn't find anything. Carol's been popping lots of pills lately. So, maybe with the sleep deprivation and the pill popping, she's hallucinating. Either way, when they take shelter in this abandoned school for the night, Carol hallucinates all sorts of stuff. And like I said, I hate it. It's boring. I'm not even going to talk about it. In the end, she's caught in a trap and fighting off a bunch of zombies. And at the time, we thought this was probably just a hallucination too. Somehow, though, Carol's injured, so they bring her to the doctors, where Sadiq is still having his PTSD flashbacks of being at the Whisperers group when they were cutting off the heads for pikes. New doctor is there to help out, though. They get Carol patched up. He seems a really nice guy, actually. He claims to have been an army medic and had some PTSD problems of his own, so he helps Sadiq out. My episode 1 claimed that because Sadiq was staring at his mouth, maybe he was one of the Whisperers, but now I'm thinking that wasn't the case. Sadiq was just staring at his mouth, because he's a weirdo. Also, there's a quick convo with Eugene and Rosita. She spells it out very clearly that nothing romantic is ever going to happen between them. This is sad for Eugene. He really thought that one day he could get out of the friend zone. Then at the end of the episode, we see that there are a bunch of dead zombies in the gymnasium. Carol didn't hallucinate that part, and in fact, the one she shot, we follow the trail of blood. It was a Whisperer who now wakes up, I think, as a zombie. And that's where the episode ends. So there you have episode 3. The plot now moved very much forward, but the Cold War between Whisperers and good guys is heating up. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 4. This episode starts over at where we haven't really been this season. The big excitement, a tree falls down, crushing them or whatever. The big question, of course, is this bad luck or is it the Whisperers? People are starting to think it's the Whisperers. Michonne's riding out to help, but on the road, they run into King Ezekiel. He's been pretty depressed lately, leaving the kingdom and his relationship with Carol. Michonne follows him up to Suicide Point, and she's like, yo, King, don't you do it. She talks him off ledge, and he responds by kissing her. Yeah, sometimes your emotions get all out of whack. They make a joke here that they might have gotten together in an alternate universe, which apparently is in the comics. They're a long-standing couple. In the show, who knows? We'll see. I mean, Rick is gone for good, and Michonne has not gotten any in 6 years. It'd be weird since the King's girl, but I guess if she dies, then it's on. Back at Alexandria, let's chin with Lydia. She's having a hard time fitting in. Her mom being responsible for killing people, she's not very well liked. Her alpha, of course, if you forgot. So she runs to another outcast for help, Mr. Negan. He gives her the fatherly advice, like, hey, don't let him get you down, kid. So she goes and sits at their lunch table and eats a squirrel in front of them. Yeah, that'll show them. Unfortunately, it just riles them up more, and these 3 a-holes attack her. Doesn't matter who they are, by the way. The girl was one of the highwaymen, so she wants to prevent cowboy hat guy. And these two are just, I don't know, douchebag teenagers. But luckily, who comes to? Mr. Negan. He shoves them away, stops the fight. Unfortunately, though, he shoved the one a little too hard. She dead. Now, the douchebags were in the wrong, but to the average Alexandrian who wasn't there, it's kind of like, yeah, Negan killed someone, clearly let's execute him. The council's deciding Negan's fate and kill him, even though Negan saved his last episode, but they're generally split, and the swing vote come down to Daryl, who's voting as a proxy for Michonne. Now, Daryl has almost more reason to hate Negan than anyone. He was there for a lot of it. Remember, he was at the head bashing, and he was kept captive at the sanctuary for half a season, but Lydia is one of Daryl's peeps after their adventures last season. He's gonna protect her no matter what. She's like, no, Negan's the good guy, he saved me, so Daryl believes her, and he votes to let Negan live. Unfortunately, votes might not matter. They might be dealing with mob justice because graffiti pops up, silence the whisperers. There's the title of the episode. So in the morning, when Father Gabriel goes to talk to Negan, he's already gone. Someone let him out of his cage. Set freegan the Negan. Lydia claims it was her and just goes down to sleep in the cell. Daryl knows it wasn't her, though, that released Negan. Was it Daryl? Back at Hilltop, dealing with the tree, they got zombie trouble. The new crew goes out to fight. I call them the new crew still because I don't individually know their names, but there seems like they're sticking around, so I better get to learn them. Walking Dead new crew. The leader is Magna. She's the badass knife chick. The Asian girl is Yukimo, and actually Magna and Yukimo are hooking up now. So that's a thing. They end up having a big fight though later, so maybe it's all already. The funny music guy is Luke, who is now using the most ridiculous weapon ever. I love that thing. The deaf girl is Connie, and her younger sister is Kelly. They have a really sweet zombie fighting scene, always in for one per episode. In the end, they have to retreat, and the zombies knock down part of the wall. Luckily, just then, the cavalry comes riding in. Ezekiel and Michonne here to save the day, and Judith is actually pulling her weight. She's quite the little zombie killer. So Hilltop is safe for now, but Michonne gets a distress call from Oceanside. Something's happened over you. Was this the Whisperers also? Well, it's like Michonne says. Once is coincidence, twice is bad luck, but 3 times? Yeah, it's the Whisperers. Luke's gonna go to Oceanside with her. Back in Epping, he met a cute Oceanside girl, so, you know, they're gonna reconnect. And then the episode ends back at Alexandria. The Silence the graffitiists have started graffitiing all the things. Yeah, so Alexandria is experiencing a lot of civil unrest. So there you have it, Walking Dead episode 4. Hit that subscribe button, catch all the rest of the Walking Dead recaps, plus plenty other cool shows. Recaps. This is the season 10 episode 5. It's an alright episode. The Hive, of course, Uncle Negan on the loose. He's all set for a soul-searching solo journey, but immediately some dude comes up to join him. His name is Brandon, and apparently parents were saviors that were killed in the war, so kind of in his mind, like, Negan was the good guy. In fact, he managed to bring with him Negan's leather jacket and his Bat Lucille. Yeah, I always wondered if they kept it around Alexandria somewhere. But Negan's not really feeling it. He's mostly a changed man now. Kid Brandon is at the best a douchebag and at the worst a straight-up psychopath. So we'll see where that goes. But first, let's check on everyone's new favorite romance, Daryl and Connie. Connie's sister Kelly was out hunting, but remember in episode 1, she explained how she's starting to lose her hearing too. Yeah, it's getting bad, and the zombie apocalypse is a dangerous place to not hear walkers creeping up behind you. So Daryl and Connie go out looking for her. Daryl's more talkative with his new deaf girlfriend than anyone else in the show. Also with, by the way, the best character, Dog. Hey, boy. Long story short, Kelly's okay, but she needs some help right now before the long walk back to Hilltop. Luckily, Magna's got a bunch of supplies nearby. Yeah, someone's been stealing them from Hilltop, and it was her. Basically, she just doesn't really trust anyone, so she figured she'd better have some supplies here just in case. Her and Yumiko are still in a fight. I don't really know why, or I guess care, so moving right along. Also at Hilltop is King Ezekiel, and he's got some bad news. Oh, he's got cancer! And in the zombie apocalypse, I don't think medical treatment is that advanced. Aaron is out patrolling the border. He finds the Whisperer, the newly named Gamma, blocking up the river with zombies. Back at the camp, we find out it was the Whisperer down the tree and have been sending small waves of zombies at him. Alpha's plan is to wear them down so much and then they'll just crack on their own. As Gamma's cutting up the next zombie, she gets really into it, having, flashbacks of her sister dying and stuff, and she cuts her hand pretty bad, but luckily, who's nearby with some band-aids? It's Aaron. He's being super nice to her. This is how we met Aaron when he first the gang back in the day. He runs back home and tells Alpha about it. Alpha's basically like, hey, maybe it's time for you to put on a new mask. I think what she's saying is befriend this guy Aaron and see, it might be useful. Of course, Aaron's trying to befriend Gamma to be a useful mole against Alpha, so we'll see where this one goes. And finally, it's time for my man Negan. They come across someone in danger, so Negan's going to save him. He breaks his knife though, so he's got to kill these zombies with his bare hands. It's just a nice random woman and her son. Brendan's like, so what's the plan? We kill him and steal their stuff? And Negan's like, yo man, get the hell out of my face.
Just as long as I don't have to see that pasty, creepy-ass face here ever again.
Even when Negan was at the peak of his badness, he always did have a soft spot for kids, and so he befriends this kid too. It's too long of a talk about how to nut slap your friends and stuff. They have such a long conversation because this kid's gonna die. Yeah, Brandon came back and killed him. He's like, hey Negan, that was a test, right? I was supposed to kill him. I did good? Negan is not happy, and he bashes this dude's face in. So about this gives Negan a new plan. Instead of wandering off to the distance, he goes back to the Whisperer's territory with his leather jacket and baseball bat. He beats up some zombies till the Whisperers show up. So yeah, what's Negan up to? Gonna kill him? Gonna join him? So there you have it, Season 10, Episode 5. We are crawling our way up to what's probably going to be an epic mid-season finale. Well, to the Man of Recaps, this is The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 6. We begin with the dynamic duo, Daryl and Carol, out on a mission to hunt down Negan. Secretly, Carol's mission is to find Alpha's zombie horde. As night's falling, they realize if they want to follow more closely, they'll have to cross the border. Daryl and Carol tracking the Whisperers, but they get a little too close. Daryl's got to do old-fashioned zombie guts on his face. Gross. And while the Whisperers are looking for him, they actually do their creepy whispering. I just realized that I've been missing all season. Daryl makes it out of there, and while they were separated, Carol took a Whisperer hostage. Daryl's a little mad though, because it's like she had the zip ties ready to go. He realizes this was her plan all along. Now it's time in on Uncle Negan. He claims he wants to join the Whisperers. Makes sense on the surface because he was a prisoner in Alexandria, but Negan is the least whispery person ever. He talks incessantly. This gets on Beta's nerves specifically. He loves silence, and also, Negan's the biggest, coolest dude that's come through since him. You can tell Beta's a little jealous of the new guy. Yeah, he and Alpha have always had this sort of sexual tension going on. Seems like Beta has a huge psychopath crush on Alpha. So Beta puts Negan through the ringer of the Whisperers Olympics. Beta's final test for Negan while walking with to draw some attention to him and let Negan fend for himself. Negan's knife breaks again. He's got bad luck. So Uncle Negan's in big trouble. Eugene's at Hilltop fixing up their thing. He has a nice call with Rosita. They left on kind of bad terms a few episodes ago where she only put him in the friend zone, but she really cares about him and misses misses him, so these two reconcile. Actually, Rosita's kinda sick, just a stomach bug, but when they go to the infirmary, it turns out a lot of people got it. Dr. Dante learns his zombie apocalypse lesson that even a minor stomach bug can be a big deal. This illness could be related to the fact that the Whisperers are dumping zombie guts in the river. Although it seems crazy, Aaron wouldn't have immediately told everyone about it. Sadiq takes a nap with his baby. He's zooming in on his mouth again. What's wrong with Sadiq? Well, he has a nightmare type thing. Open your eyes, she says. And yeah, he's like in a nighttime Alexandria? Whatever happened with the Whisperers the day they put everyone's heads on pikes and made Sadiq watch? I think there was maybe more to it, because they're really building up his PTSD thing. Eugene's still on the radio, calling out on open frequencies to see if anyone's out there.
This is Taterbug over open air, surfing on these proverbial radio waves. Any interested earholes, come on back.
And someone actually responds. Yeah, this was teased at the end of season 9. Someone was coming on the radio, and apparently it's some really nice sounding girl. Obviously you can't trust each other yet, so they don't share any real information, but they get a long talk going about life, and basically they're flirting. At the end of the date, Eugene tells her his name, and he's definitely got a radio girlfriend now.
Susie!
She wants them to keep each other a secret for now while they build trust. Makes sense, and maybe she's gonna be Eugene's girlfriend. Or maybe she's part of a large evil group that's playing him. We'll see. Back at the Whispers, Beta's like, Negan didn't make it. Guess he's not good enough to join us anyway. But then it's Big Bad Daddy Negan coming in with a grand old entrance.
You best bring that extra measure on account of my humongous balls.
Negan really loves balls. He kneels Alpha, swearing fealty Game of Thrones style, and is apparently fully gonna join the Whisperers. That's how episode 6 comes to an end. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Season 10, Episode 7. And what an episode it was. Something happens. So if you don't want spoilers, go watch it now. The episode title is Open Your Eyes, which is what Sadiq heard someone whisper to him in his PTSD dream. So hopefully we'll finally get some closure on Sadiq's poor mental issues. First things first, though, the Whisperer that Carol and Daryl captured last episode, so they bring him in for questioning. Lydia gives him some advice that the Whisperers are fully brainwashed in Alpha's cult, so, no amount of torture is going to make him crack. But if he could see that Alexandria is a really nice place to live, he might be like, oh my god, why am I living in the woods wearing zombie masks? So Carol butters him up with some bread and jam, and it seems like that's gonna work, but oh, he was just playing her. Yeah, this guy's just fully committed Whisperer. So Carol goes in for some light torture, but long story short, that doesn't work either. Although they do learn one very interesting thing, that Alpha told all the Whisperers that she killed Lydia. So a plan hatched. If they could show the Whisperers that Lydia's still alive and their glorious leader Alpha lied to them, they have a mutiny on their hands. Unfortunately, before they could bring Lydia to this guy, something's wrong, he dead. Yeah, Dante gave him some healing herbs, but those are hemlock, a poison. It wasn't Dante's fault, though. It was Sadiq who packed the bag. Yeah, Sadiq's been having a rough time. His flashbacks are worse than ever. Now with so many people in Alexandria randomly sick, he's just not getting any sleep. Meanwhile, at the border, it's Aaron and Gamma on guard duty, starting to talk to each other, try to be friends. Of course, Gamma was instructed by Alpha to pretend to be friends with him to, get information and stuff. Aaron, though, was just too friendly a guy. He starts to break down her barriers, especially when talking about siblings, because she sacrificed her own sister to save Alpha, and she's definitely starting to regret that. Alpha has a check-in with her to make sure she's not cracking, and they do the on the arm, ouch. So when Gamma goes back, she just grabs Aaron with a knife, like, yo, tell me everything. But just then, it's Carol who comes around the corner with Lydia. Gamma sees that Lydia's alive, and brain explosion, Alpha lied to me. She runs into the woods. Lydia, though, is like, wait a minute, Carol, were you just gonna use me? I'm going off on my own. Back at Alexandria, the nice old lady Sadiq's been treating, oh no! She dies! Sadiq save her, and he's having a serious panic attack now. He just jumps in the river.
Hello, darkness, my friend.
Rosita jumps in there to pull him out. Remember, these two have a baby together, and even though they're not romantically together, I guess they're still real close. And, they had a good the kind of heart-to-heart you have on The Walking Dead if you're about to die. Sadiq's little swim, though, gives him an idea. Maybe people are sick because of the drinking water. You think? Yeah, I guess Alexandria filtration system and the lever point to drinkable or undrinkable. And on one of the pipes, turns out the lever was bent. It was pointing the wrong way. Sadiq blames himself. It's because he's been so distracted that he didn't realize the water. His best bro Dante comes to cheer him up like, hey man, it's not your fault. Dante gives him a real nice pep talk here, and I've come to really love Dante over the course of this season. I feel bad about, back in episode 1, accusing him of being an undercover whisperer. Except I was totally right. Yeah, right after they hug, Dante does a little tongue click tick, and Sadiq, boom, remembers that's what the whisperer did, who was holding him and made him open his eyes. Oh, mind blown! They have an intense stare down, but Sadiq's got no poker. Dante knows the jig is up, and oh god, they're having a fight. Dante's choking Sadiq out, and he's like, I'm sorry, man, I really like you, this isn't how it to go. But yeah, Sadiq is dead. So there you have it. Dante killed Sadiq. He's an undercover whisperer. That means it was Dante who intentionally sabotaged the water and killed the prisoner before he could talk. It seemed truthful that he did really like Sadiq and didn't want to have to kill him. But on the other hand, I guess he's working to bring down all of Alexandria. It's hard to imagine how a normal cool Dante could ever, be a whisperer. But I guess Alpha's got her people just, very washed. And if they got a sleeper agent inside Alexandria, maybe there's one at the hilltop or Oceanside too. Is episode 8, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the mid-season break, so you know it's gonna be a biggie. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Dead Season 10-8. It is the mid-season finale, and, some stuff happens. We start right off with the flashback between Alpha and Dante, showing how he was told to go undercover. Basically, he's just a broken person, like most of the Whisperers, assumedly, and fully brainwashed into Alpha's BS, so when she's like, hey, I need you to go pretend to be normal for a while, but don't get who you really are, he's like, yeah, I'm into that. So yeah, he's been passing messages to Alpha this whole time, and it was in fact him who graffitied the Silence the Whisperers to sow discord, and officially was him who sabotaged the drinking water. So back in the present, he's just killed Sadiq. Unfortunately, Rosita comes in just then. He does a pretty bad job of pretending nothing happened, so he's gotta fight Rosita. Luckily, he's enough guy, he lets her put the bait first, thank goodness for that. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to stab Sadiq in the head yet, back as a zombie, and he's going straight to eat his baby.
Nature sometimes buries their young.
In retrospect, Dante's definitely a lot messed up. In any case, Rosita beats Dante and stabs Sadiq, her baby daddy zombie, to save her kid. Sadiq has a funeral, and Rosita's real beat up. She goes up to punch some zombies with stabby brass knuckles. But as tends to happen in The Walking Dead, when people are not good emotionally, they fail to kill zombie. Luckily, Eugene's there to save his lady love. I am now rooting for Eugene to eventually get the girl. Luckily, he has enough class to not make a move right now. But remember, Rosita's still dating Father Gabriel. Forget that's actually a thing. And they have a bit of a tiff here, so there's hope for my man Eugene yet. Gabriel goes to see Dante. Normally, he's the man of second chances and forgiveness, but today, he's the man of stabbing multiple times and screaming in a primal roar. Okay, Father Gabriel, guess you gotta let it out sometime. Where Michonne and Judith and Luke are on their way to Oceanside. They get talking about books and music, and looks like, hey, there's a library right around here. Let's go check it out. It seems to be, so it's a pretty good field trip. But, of course, there were some zombies super hidden somehow. They grab Luke, though, by a new random who immediately runs away. And Michonne just got the news to Sadiq and Dante, so fun field trip time is over. So when it gets to Oceanside, it's like, hey, every new person of the last 4 months, don't be trusting them anymore. But immediately a new person shows up. It's the dude from the library. He claims he's just a normal dude trying to get back to his family. He just wants to borrow one of their boats. Unfortunately, sneaking in here, he broke all their alarm systems. They got a mess of zombies coming. But zombie killing time, alright. Michonne interrogates librarian. His name is Joel, and he says some stuff about Mercy that reminds Michonne of Rick, so she decides to trust him for now. Apparently, his community's on an island off the coast. Every Walking Dead fan around the world says that's what I'm talking about. In a zombie apocalypse, I would go straight for an island. And not just any island, a naval base. So in exchange for Michonne taking him home, he's willing to trade some big guns to help the fight against the Whisperers. So Michonne and Virgil sailing off on a boat. Now, friendship at the border. Gamma comes up to Aaron. She's like, hey, the baby that survived, that was my sister's kid. I'd really love to see him. By the way, my name's Mary. After losing her sister and finding out that lied about killing her daughter Lydia, Mary's ready to reveal a big secret, the location of the Horde. If they can find the Horde and destroy it, that takes away all of Alpha's bargaining power. They could beat the Whisperers no problem. Now, a bunch of characters are on a mission to find the zombie Horde, see if the Whisperer Mary was telling the truth. Best friend Daryl and Carol finally have it out. Daryl's mad at how Carol's been super annoying this season. She's letting her grief over Henry and her desire of revenge against Alpha cloud all her judgment. They have a serious convo and hug it out hardcore, so if you're into emotional stuff, maybe this was a good scene for you. The expedition gets to the valley where the Horde's supposed to be, and it's empty. Daryl's like, yeah, obviously Mary lied to us. I'm out of here. But Aaron still thinks it was the truth. He's like, I bet the Horde was just here. But on the way back, Carol sees Alpha herself. Yeah, she's right there taunting him. So obviously Carol takes chase. They end up at like a cave or something, maybe like an abandoned mine. Daryl falls down into the dark. The rest of the crew did too. And what do they see but zombie Horde here underground? Yes, I thought for a while that maybe Alpha was bluffing. She lost the Horde in the winter, or perhaps even had control of it in the first place. But it is alive and well, hiding here underground, and now our gang is trapped there with them. And that's how the first half of Season 10 comes to an end. I was expecting perhaps a bigger moment. We're ending on a cliffhanger here, but overall it's been a pretty solid season so far. I'll tell you what though, I'm excited for part 2, where I think things are really getting kicked up a notch. The show's on a 2-month break, February 23rd. Make sure you subscribe, because when watch back, Mana Recaps will be right there telling you all about it. Welcome to the Mana Recap. It is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 9. At the end of last episode, Alpha lured our crew down into a cave. She's hiding her zombie horde. They are trapped down there. How are they gonna get out of this one? There's no way to climb back up where they fell down. Go is forward. Go through the zombie horde by being on little rocks. Luckily, these rocks are in just the right places. I'll make it over, no problem. Daryl, master of wilderness survival, pulls out a match and holds it around, looking for where the air is. He's leading the group out of the cave, just like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. Daryl and Carol have a heart-to-heart. They just had one last episode where he's like, hey, you've been acting dumb all season since Henry's death. I know you want revenge on Alpha, but you gotta be smart. Immediately after that, Carol solo chased Alpha into the woods without thinking them all in this mine shaft. He's like, so, same convo we had last episode? And she's like, yeah, okay, I see your point now. Then our crew has to squeeze through a really tight space. Carol is apparently claustrophobic, and after watching this episode, I realized I am too. As they crawl their way through this very tight tunnel, turns out some zombies coming up behind them. This is a big problem for Jerry, who is a real big dude and is not gonna make it through. Oh, if Jerry, my second favorite character, dies here like this, I'm gonna threaten to quit the show. It would have been a threat, of course. I still have to watch the show to recap it for you guys. But luckily, it's all good. Jerry makes it out okay. The crew is almost out. It's the collapsed mine shaft. They just have to clear some debris and they're home free. They find a big box of dynamite, but using that would definitely cave the whole thing in. Meanwhile, Alpha pulls in her lieutenants, Beta and the new Gamma. It's like, hey, they went straight to the field where the Horde just was before I moved it. They must send in spies across the border. She sends Gamma to the border to go search for these spies. Of course, we know Gamma is the spy. Then Negan comes to see Alpha while she's taking a dump. Remember, he officially joined the Whisperers last episode, even he's very bad at the no-talking thing, but he does have some great advice about ruling an evil organization. Just like his lieutenant Dwight was spying for the good guys, he figures that Alpha's spy is probably Gamma. At first, Alpha's not interested. She pulls a knife on his balls, Negan's favorite thing in the world, but when Alpha learns Gamma's disappeared at the border, she thinks Negan might be right. Alpha leads Negan into the woods like, hey, you reward, take your clothes off. Negan's like, what kind of reward do I have to be naked for? Ooh, Alpha's naked too! Negan's talked about his junk so much, she wants to see what it's all. Negan has not been laid in like 10 years, so he's in for it. I don't blame him. I predict this will be an unpopular opinion, but I mean, I think Alpha's kinda hot. She does want to keep the zombie mask on. Okay, that's where she'd lose me. In fact, I assumed keeping the zombie mask on implied a no-kiss rule, but I would have been wrong about that one. So Negan and Alpha get it on. Our gang's almost out when Carol's gone missing with a bunch of dynamite. Yeah, she's going back to where the horde is, gonna try to blow it all up. She fails though and almost falls off. Luckily Daryl's there to save her again. She finally breaks down crying. She killed my boy. It's like, yeah, Carol, we know. We keep having this conversation. Please stop being dumb. Carol's like, you're right, I'm sorry, but she does drop a dynamite, which explodes, and yeah, the whole cave is shaken now. Jerry, the Hulk, single-handedly holds up the cave while the rest of them can escape. Magna and Connie are fighting some more walkers that somehow got here. They're like, get out of here, Jerry, we'll hold them off. And some of them are still down there when the whole place explodes. Oh, no, don't tell me Connie's dead. She and Daryl were just romance going. It kind of looks like they're still alive. If this exit just collapsed, Daryl's off on a one-man mission to find another way in and rescue them. Carol's really sorry. It's totally her fault that we're trapped there in the first place, and then that the dynamite exploded. Daryl doesn't say anything to her, but it's like, yeah, I mean, it is your fault. And that's how episode 9 comes to an end. If you'll recap, hit that subscribe button. I'm giving you the best recaps of TV and movies, so don't miss it. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Season 10, Episode 10. The Whisperer Gamma has Alexandria. She knows Alpha knows she's the traitor, so she's here to defect. After the whole Dante situation, though, they do not trust her. Father Gabriel pulls his priest powers and makes her confess. Finally, she admits to them and herself that she killed her sister to save Alpha because she was so brainwashed, and because she cries, they mostly believe her. Gamma's real name is Mary, and she points out where the mine is. They're gonna go out there in force to rescue their friends, but they get a zombie horde is coming their way. Rosita's gonna stay behind with just a people to lead the defenses. She and Father Gabriel are still dating, by the way. They had a little fight earlier, and she's having dreams about whisperers, but they make up and kiss, and he gives her his hat. Now, last episode, Beta was to find Gamma and bring her back. He goes into an RV that has a secret tunnel underneath it. Where does this tunnel lead? Oh, he's popping out of the grave inside Alexandria. This seems completely impractical, but I mean, it's baller. He goes on a Friday the 13th killing spree, taking out random Alexandrians. Then he kneels down and waits for them to rise as zombies. Boom! Walker attack Alexandria. Father Gabriel realizes too late that it's a trap, so Alexandria's almost defenseless. Beta goes down to Gamma like, hey, Alpha wants you alive. Let's go. Luckily, she's by this character, whose name I don't know, but she's the one that used to be a savior and is now one of the leaders of Alexandria. But when you have a threat as big as Beta, you need to kill him immediately, because if you just spear to his neck, he's gonna bust out real quick and kill you. Now, little Judith made friends with Gamma earlier. Her favorite hangout spot is right next to the prison cell. Judith's a lot smarter than that now dead character, because she shoots first and asks questions later. Tragically, the adults are TV stupid and don't finish him off immediately, because of course he's wearing a bulletproof vest. He has a knife fight with Rosita, and he's about to win. But Gamma stops him, pulls an Orlando Bloom from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Alpha wants me alive, so let Rosita go, or I'll kill myself. Somehow this works. Beta's taking him back to their camp, but the rest of the crew comes and finds him. Beta has to run off into the woods. It kind of looks like Gamma's very guilty here of being the one who let Beta into Alexandria. Father Gabriel seriously considers killing her, but decides that she's telling the truth. Mary is accepted as one of them now, and a bunch of characters going off the hilltop for some reason. Meanwhile, Daryl is searching for another entrance to the cave to rescue Magna left behind, but leaving the cave right now is Alpha with a bunch of walkers. Daryl ambushes them and has a big fight with Alpha. You'd think Daryl could easily kick his butt, but he's distracted by the zombies and plus gets like blood in his eyes. In fact, I'm surprised to never see anything with all the hair in his face. They both make it to a gas station where Alpha summons zombie friends who pass her by and attack Daryl. Manages to take him out, but he's losing a lot of blood, so he and Alpha both pass out. Who should find them though but Alpha's daughter, Lydia. She and her mom have a talk. Alpha's like, yeah, kill me and take my place. And Lydia's like, no, I don't really want to be a whisperer. So Lydia rescues Daryl and dumbly leaves her mom alive to get vengeance later. And that's how episode 10 comes to an end. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies. And click the join button to support and be a recap champion. Well, recaps. This is The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 10. The Whisperers have gathered up their mega zombie horde and are ready for a march on Hilltop. This is a cool Whisperer moment. They're creepily whispering their "We are the end of the world" chant. And Negan is fully with them now, right next to Alpha, wearing his very own zombie mask. Alexandria crew arrives at Hilltop. The ex-Walker Mary really wants to see you, the baby that, was abandoned. Old blacksmith guy's been raising the baby. He and his wife took it in when they abandoned it, and then the Whisperers killed his wife, so he doesn't want her anywhere near it. The new crewing up to go rescue Magna and Connie, but Daryl and Lydia ride in like, hey, we just tried. You can't go out there anymore. The horde's coming. Hilltop argues whether they should stay and fight or to live another day. Unfortunately, it's a moot point. The road blocked, so they are stranded at Hilltop. No reinforcements can get to them fast enough to make their Smith guy gives a real inspiring more lines than he's had in a while, so I assume he's dying in battle. Ex-Walker Mary tries to see her nephew. Alden stops her now. The Whisperers killed his girlfriend Enid too, so he doesn't trust her at all. He has an emotional speech here, more lines he's had in a while, so I assume he's dying in this battle too. Carol had been hanging out in the woods by herself, feeling guilty about the whole cave collapse fiasco. King Ezekiel finds her the winner back all season, and he's not giving up on her. So now with the prospect of imminent death looming, Carol's ready to go for it. Carol and the King get it on and are back together. Eugene is still flirting with his radio girlfriend. They made contact a few episodes back, but have still agreed not to tell their respective communities about each other in case, they're secretly evil. They had just agreed to set up an in-person meeting when Rosita walks in. She hears a random girl on the like, hey, who's this? And unfortunately, that scares Stephanie off. She goes radio silent. Rosita apologizes to Eugene, accidentally cock-blocking him. She's like, hey, I feel bad to make it up for you. You can kiss me one time right now. This is what Eugene has always wanted. It's finally happening. But he can't go through with it. He's got a real crush on Radio Girl. So Eugene tries to win his lady back by singing a song over the radio waves. And it works. She responds and is like, hey, let's meet up 1 week from today. So now Eugene has serious motivation to survive the night.
I got a date.
Daryl and Ezekiel make a pact that if things go bad, one of them will get the kids all out of there no matter what. Then Daryl talks to Judith, who's made a present for him. She has redrawn the missing angel wing on his iconic biker's vest. Yeah, the right wing disappeared sometime during the time after Rick left the show, and now she's given him a beautiful blue one to symbolize his whatever. Then it is time for the battle. This is some real Rings Game of Thrones stuff right here. We saw them practicing their shield formations way back in episode 1, and finally they're getting put to use. They built a bunch of obstacles, walkers down, keep them from getting overwhelmed, and then it is zombie killing time! Boom, stab, smash! They're just taking out walkers. Extended period of time. But the Whisperers up their sleeves. Beta's been collecting tree sap. They slingshot him over like balloons, getting the sap everywhere. Turns out this tree sap is very flammable, so our gang's in a sticky situation. Earlier, Negan with Alpha. He's a close advisor to her now, even doesn't have a letter for a name yet. They did have sex, so that counts for something. Maybe instead of destroying Hilltop completely, we can, make them surrender to us. So now Negan's like, hey, I thought we decided not to kill them, have them join us.
They will. Part of my horde.
Hardcore. So our crew has to retreat, fall back behind the walls, but the Whisperers light those on fire too, so things look real bleak for our heroes, and that's where the episode comes to an end. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies, and click join button to support the channel and be a recap champion. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Dead. It's a big episode. Huge moments happen, so if you don't want spoilers, make sure you watch it first. We start right off at the Battle of Hilltop. Everything's on fire. This is a long, epic scene. If you like sweet zombie battling, you will not be disappointed. Daryl's still using his Morning Star. It's super cool, maybe a little impractical though. Our gang are pro zombie killers. They do an incredible job here, but there's just too many of them. Hilltop has fallen. All our mates survive and are making their way to a rendezvous point. Alden's got the baby who's crying, and Mary's like, hey, let me hold it. I know how to calm him down. He was adamantly against Mary ever holding the but babies crying are super annoying. He decides to let her try. So she gets to hold her nephew. It's a great moment for her. Unfortunately, some walkers show up, so they've got to hide in this van. Mary runs off to draw them away and out, but Beta shows up. Oh, stabs her. He says, you walk with us, dead as a zombie. Mary grabs his mask and rips half of it off. Oh, Beta's mad now. He slices her real good. That mask was his whole identity. He never takes it off, and we know it's the same mask he's been wearing since the beginning, the face of someone who was really close to him. But another whisperer immediately recognizes just from half a face. He's like, oh man, I thought your voice was familiar. I didn't realize it was you. Beta was a huge celebrity in the pre-zombie apocalypse world. From a few really small Easter eggs people found, it seems like he was a country singer. So that's the other reason Beta never takes his mask off, to hide his identity, and he does kill this guy to keep it quiet. He waits around for Mary to come back as a zombie. But oh, she gets taken out immediately. Alden was waiting there too to put her down, a really nice symbolic gesture so she'd never have to walk with the Whisperers again. Although I sincerely hope he was aiming for Beta, right? Now among the Walker horde, wait, that's zombie, it's Magna! Magna and Connie managed to escape the cave by blending in with the horde. They stuck together as much as possible, but eventually separated. Magna and Yumiko have been dating for a while now. They had a huge fight though right before the cave incident. Now they make up and it's all good. Carol and Eugene have a talk without giving her any details. He's like, yeah, a date, but I guess I'm gonna miss it now. Carol's like, yo man, fall of Hilltop get in the way of true love. You go to her. King is in charge of evacuating the kids to safety. Judith is doing some zombie killing of her own. I mean, she's a pro at it, but one of them was a whisperer. She's never killed a living human before. It kind of traumatizes her. Ezekiel lost the kids though. It's old blacksmith guy who led him to safety. He doesn't look so good though. He's hammering a spike through this table. Oh yeah, he was bit. The fever's taken hold. He's gotta kill himself to protect the kids. Judith finds him though, like, hey, that's a crazy contraption. You know you don't have to do this, right? I've killed hundreds of zombies. I can just stab you after you die. But I guess because he's a friend, that would be even more traumatizing for her. Doesn't want to put her through it. So yeah, this dude, bah! Honestly, it's probably just as traumatizing for Judith to find him like that, and it didn't even work anyway. Soon enough, the adults do meet up with the kid, and Daryl and Judith have a real good cuddle moment. The Whisperer's on cleanup duty. Beta sends Negan to go round up some new zombies.
I am at your service, Frowny McTwo-Knives.
Which is not as intuitive as the Whisperers make it seem. Gets frustrated, just takes him out. But while he's out here, he runs into Aaron. Remember, these two had a whole thing earlier this season where Aaron didn't trust him, but in the end trusted him a little bit. But now, seeing him in a Whisperer mask after the battle, he's out for blood. Luckily, though, some walkers show up and Aaron's got to defend this injured guy, so Negan's able to slip away. Then Negan finds Lydia. These two had a great relationship back at Alexandria. He was a friend to her when everyone else was shot and saved her life from those douchebags. But now he grabs her because her mother Alpha wants to kill her. Negan's like, hey Alpha, got a present for you. She's tied up in the shack over here. Alpha is once again really pleased and impressed with Negan. Negan tries to talk Alpha out of killing Lydia though, like, hey, I mean, you still really love your dog. Why would you do that? Negan tells the story of how his wife Lucy died of cancer before the zombie apocalypse even started. That killed him inside, shut down all his emotions, which is why he was able to do so well in the zombie apocalypse. But Alpha's like, basically I'm crazy. Killing her is what I've got to do to prove that I have no emotions either.
I have to do it because I love her.
So Negan leaves the shed. It's a tense scene as Lydia's trying to escape. Oh, is she gonna make it? But what? She's in a different shed. What's going on here? Oh, snap! Negan kills Alpha! Slices her throat right up, kisses her on the way to the ground. Why'd Negan do it? Seems like to protect Lydia and to protect the world at large from Alpha, who's clearly too crazy to live. But there's more to it than that. He throws Alpha's head at someone's feet. What? It's Carol, who says,
Took you long enough.
oh snap, mystery! Must have been Carol who let Negan out originally with the secret mission to infiltrate the Whisperers and assassinate Alpha. And that's how episode 12 comes to an end. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV, and click the join button to support the channel and be a recap champion. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Dead, season episode 13. It's a Michonne episode. We haven't seen her since episode 8. Before the break, she left on a boat to take the new guy they found, Virgil, back to Home Island, apparently some sort of Navy base. He claimed that they have a bunch, including maybe some heavy ordnance, and if Michonne helps him get home, she can take it for the fight against hers. Virgil's really dragging his feet though, stops to pick some flowers for his wife. Turns out his wife is dead! Oh yeah, his whole family's gone. He's kind of lost it. He's like, hey, well, your zombie killing skills to help clear out this building of zombies so I can get my wife and kids and bury them. So Michonne goes through katana time. Virgil is no help. Michonne's like, don't worry, I got it. So they bury his family. Michonne's like, okay, now where are these weapons at? And he's like, well, it's getting dark. Let's go in the morning. That night, though, Michonne decides to take a look around her. Virgil comes behind her and locks her in. He's got some other prisoners next door. They talk through the wall. It's like, no, we were friends with Virgil. We were all in the community together, but long short, like, his family died and he went crazy. She eats the food he gave her, and when he comes back, he's like, hey, how are things looking? Are you having a crazy drug trip? She has a vision of her past self. Yeah, remember when we met her, she had her zombie bodyguards. That was hardcore Michonne. She dreams up an alternate history where she didn't save Andrea, and so never joined our crew. And in fact, later met up with Negan and ended up joining the Saviors. Whoa, alternate history, cool stuff. Eventually, the drugs wear off and Virgil's let his guard down, so she stabs him with a fork and escapes. But sadly, he did already burn the boat. So Michonne tackles him. His old friends are like, yeah, can we kill him, please? But Michonne, who just had a bad trip where she was a villain, is like, no, let's show mercy. Turns out there's no weapons here at all. He wasn't in fact lying to her. They look through his closet. He's like, this is what I got. I mean, you can take anything you want. What Michonne finds is a smelly old pair of cowboy boots, which she hugs. Oh snap, those boots belonged to Rick Grimes. Apparently they washed ashore from this other boat nearby. Michonne goes exploring on it and folds cell phone with a picture of her and Judith etched into it. This is the first clue they've had in 9 years as to what happened to Rick. What adventure has he been on, and why is there Japanese written on it? Michonne calls Judith on the radio and also talks to her and Rick's son, RJ, Rick Jr. I've never mentioned him before because he hasn't done anything, but yeah, remember she was pregnant. Her and Rick did have a kid. Anyway, this is because Judith's like, yeah, the Whisperer threat's done. We're all here. So Michonne's like, oh, if you don't need me there right away, I found a clue to where Rick might be. And Judith's like, yo, we'll be fine here. You gotta go find him. So Michonne's off on a solo adventure to find Rick, complete with her 2 new zombie bodyguards. Eventually, they find some randos. They're like, hey, can you help us? My leg's injured. Like, our crew is leaving without us. Turns out our crew is a massive caravan of people. What group is this? Where they come from and where are they going? And is with them? There's nothing announced yet, but in theory, there's going to eventually be some sort of Rick's Adventure spin-off movie or series or something, and looks like Michonne will be in that too, trying to track him down. So get excited. In fact, Michonne's final episode on The Walking Dead, end of an era. She's been amazing. Gonna be weird without her, but this show just keeps going on. Where does it go from here? Find out next time on The Walking Dead. Hit that subscribe button for more of the recaps of TV and movies, and click the join button to support the channel and be a recap champion. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 4, with Negan back in his cell, but no, it's a flashback confirming that Carol did in fact let him out to go assassinate Alpha. And Carol puts Alpha's head on that spike. He finally got her revenge. Negan's like, cool, now let's go back to Alexandria. That was part of our take me back there and be like, oh my god, Negan's the hero. But Carol's like, what took you so long? Hilltop's burned down now, right? She's like, you're on your own, Negan. I'm not even going back to Alexandria now. I have some business of mine to take care of. That business is wandering in the wilderness, having an imaginary conversation with Alpha. I've said it before, imaginary conversations with dead characters are my absolute least favorite trope that this show does. It's supposed to be Carol's introspection of her soul, come to terms with who she is and what she's done. But actually all it does is waste our time. The Hilltop survivors are hanging out, and Eugene calls everyone for a special announcement. He tells them about his radio romance, and he's going to meet this Stephanie right now. People are concerned it might be a trap, but Eugene has a tearful speech about having hope that there's good people out there. King Ezekiel's like, hey man, you don't have to cry. I'm in. Let's go find your lady love. The king says goodbye to his bodyguard and best friend Jerry, and it's a touching moment as I think for the first time Jerry Her Majesty as just Ezekiel. Yumiko's going too, leaving behind her lady love she was just reunited with. I guess she's just in the mood for a road trip. Now Beta and some Whisperers find Alpha's head. This is difficult for Beta to process. His entire existence was serving Alpha. So he grabs her zombie head, he's taking her with him. Negan goes to untie Lydia, but she's already escaped and Daryl's there waiting for him. He's real excited to finally kill Negan's like, whoa, I'm a good guy. I just killed Alpha for you. Negan leads Daryl back to the spike to prove it, but of course Alpha's head is gone now. Beta took it, but just then Whispers show up. Word got around that Negan was the last one seen with her. They know he killed her. They go all Wizard of Oz on him. The Wicked Witch is dead. All hail Dorothy. For a few minutes it looks like Negan might embrace his role, the new Alpha. But instead, he pulls these guys like, see, Daryl, I told you I'm a good guy now. Will Negan and Daryl be new best bros? I doubt it. I don't think Daryl can ever forgive Negan for all the stuff he did during the Savior War. But he has to accept that Negan's a goodish guy, at least for now. Carol eventually comes home too, so Negan might finally be accepted into the group as the hero who killed Alpha. So the road trip crew is on an adventure. They fight some zombies, but Ezekiel breaks into a coughing fit. Remember, he is dying of cancer. Ezekiel's horse falls over. Oh, it got zombie bit. He's got to put it down. Super sad that he's not strong enough to protect people anymore, but Yumiko gives a pep talk, and they're all good. Eventually, they get to a new city. Yeah, it's like the famous season 1 shot of Atlanta. This is exciting times. We haven't been to a city in a while. Whoever's living in this city has hilariously tied up zombies and dressed up having tea party. Whoever this new person is, they are clearly hilarious. And soon we meet them. Here's the intro.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm excited for this character. Beta wanders off, goes to a hotel where someone was staying, and whoever this person was, they're a big fan of country music legend Half Moon. It's been hinted at, and now it's confirmed that who Beta was, a country music singer. At first he won't erase his former self, but then he starts playing his records and has an impromptu zombie concert. After reconnecting with his past self, he finally understands what is trying to tell him. He does finally kill her zombie head. I thought he was gonna just carry her around forever. In fact, he does carry her with him in the form of his new half-zombie mask. Beta, wearing a half-alpha, gathers his own new zombie. He's keeping the Whisperer dream alive. There's only 2 episodes left this season. How will the Whisperer War end? Find out next time on The Walking Dead. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies. And click the join button to support the channel and be a recap champion. Welcome to the mess. This is The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 15. It is not the season finale, but it is the finale for now. Episode 16 is delayed due to quarantine, so we won't get it till later this year. This episode starts off with the new character, the purple-haired girl living in the city by herself. She's a little bit wacky, but seems to be a good guy.
You call me princess.
Why princess?
Because queen makes me sound old and pretentious.
She shoots up some zombies with her enormous machine gun, unfortunately scares off the horses. Oops. She feels bad, says she's got some wheels near her, and the gang's not sure if they can trust her, but they go along for now. Meanwhile, Beta has led his zombie horde into Alexandria. Yeah, looks like they figured he was coming and evacuated. But oh, Alden is spying on him with Aaron. They're scouting it out, reporting back to the rest of the crew who's hanging out in some other building they call the Tower. Luke is working on some sciencey thing. He is the second smartest guy around besides Eugene. Of course, Luke is a music nerd, not an engineering nerd, but I guess in the zombie apocalypse you take what kind of nerds you can get. He does have a girlfriend now, that girl from Oceanside he was flirting with in episode 1. Anyway, for his science project, he needs someone to go out on a run, and Carol volunteers. Carol took Kelly with her and apologizes for getting her sister Connie trapped in the mine. Yeah, Magnum made it out, but we still haven't seen what happened to Connie yet. Kelly's got faith that her sister's still alive though, and she's like, hey Carol, I know you've been getting a lot of hate this season because you've been acting like an idiot, but don't beat yourself up too much. You've what you had to do, and that's your superpower, going off solo and doing what's gotta be done. At the Tower is an incredibly important character we haven't seen in a while. It's Dog. Yeah, he's alright. Oh, and Lydia's there too. Uncle Negan comes up like, hey kid, sorry I murdered your mom. They have a big conversation. Lydia hates her mom, but it was still her mom, so she hates Negan, but kinda likes Negan.
One person couldn't feel all that. It'd explode.
In the end, though, they work their issues, and these two are tight. Princess is leading the group to the garage. She takes them through this field. Hey, be careful where you step, because it's a minefield. And even though she's been through here a bunch of times, this time the distraction, she forgot her place. They all stand around in the rain for a while Princess tries to not get them all blown up. They're wasting time. They're on a tight schedule to get to Eugene's date. Speaking of dates, Eugene's grooming options are limited in the zombie apocalypse, but for the rest of us, there's Manscaped. No one wants a jungle down there. The modern man takes care of himself and has a nice manly trim. Trust me on this one, you don't want to risk your sensitive areas to some random cheap. Want is the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, precision engineered with anti-nick properties to give you a good trim around those delicate areas. In fact, you should get the Manscaped Perfect Package. Order with my link in the description for a free pair of boxers and a sweet leather toiletry tote. My promo code RECAP20 for 20% off. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Click that link in there now and get your manscaping on. Beta leads the horde away to try to find him. The Whisperer is like, hey, we trust you, you're the new Alpha, and he doesn't like that. He's about to kill this Whisperer, but gets distracted because he's gone full-on crazy now, hearing voices of the walkers. Daryl's scouting around the woods, and Judith came with him. She's like, hey, I don't want to hide with the kids. I want to learn to be a scout like you. They find a Whisperer rounding up some zombies and take all out. They interrogate the Whisperer. It's the one Beta almost killed, and she's like, yeah, Beta's lost his mind mind, I'm quitting. She doesn't have any more information for them, so Daryl shoots her in the head. Judith is like, whoa, what? She's been killing walkers her whole life, but killing humans is new to her. Judith misses her parents, or more accurately Michonne, since that's the mom that raised her. Of course, her real mom was Lori, who I've completely forgot about, and she barely even remembers her dad Rick, who of course is probably not her dad, as she's almost certainly Shane's daughter. But either way, they're all off the show now, so the closest thing to a parent she has is her uncle, and these two are a beautiful family. I'm rooting for the two of them and Dog to live happily ever after. Eventually, Princess remembers the way and leads them out of there. They're pretty mad, but she's not malicious. She's just a little scatterbrained and hasn't seen another living human in over a year, so her social skills are a little rusty. Eugene's like, hey, I'm a awkward guy too. It's alright, I forgive you. Princess's wheels turns out to not be working cars, but bicycles. It's still faster than walking though, so hey, it's a win. Yumiko was the most skeptical of Princess this whole time, but now she's like, hey, we could use a new zany character in the show. Come on with us. Meanwhile, Beta's still leading his zombie horde. He doesn't seem to have noticed that there's no Whisper next to him anymore, cause he's straight up hearing voices from the zombies. He sees a broken branch and a cat, and from this knows exactly where they are. Aaron and Alden switching directions, but too late. They've been captured. So Beta leads his horde to an abandoned hospital. This is the Tower, and that's how episode 15 comes to an end. So it's a cliffhanger for now. How will the Whisperer War come to an end? We'll find out later this year when our real world finds back to normal. As soon as it's out, you know I'll be recapping it, so hit that subscribe button. Until then, Man of Recaps out. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies. And click the join button to support the channel and champion. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 16. The season finale here after the long COVID quarantine delay. My previous recaps if you need to be caught up, but otherwise, here it is, the end of her war. Beta has led his zombie horde to a gang, and he has gone full crazy now. He's the zombie talking to him. They've got a pretty good evacuation plan in place. Luke has managed to jerry-rig a system. They're going to lead the zombie horde away. But to do that, some of them need to sneak through the zombie horde. If you get claustrophobic in large crowds, this is terrifying. It's basically the worst music festival ever, especially because these zombies do not respect COVID social distancing. Another scary thing is that among these walkers are the Wisps themselves, but oh, our gang's got snipers on the roof to take them out. But Beta, the zombie shepherd savant, is able to bring them all in tighter, nullifying that advantage. So when you run into a Whisperer, you have to have a super low-key quiet fight, because if you scream out, the zombies swarm. They got this one down, but oh, stabs the leg of the girl from Oceanside, whose I feel bad not knowing her name, because now she gets a real gruesome death. She has the speaker parts too. Carol can't get to it, but who's this? Man, on in there. It's Lydia, wearing her mom mask. Lydia and Carol have had some emotional things going on. Carol kind of avoids her because she reminds her of Henry's death. She's like, look kid, I don't want to be your surrogate mom. And Lydia's like, I'm basically an adult. I mean, we can be friends. And so their plan worked. The music starts playing and the horde turns around. Yeah, they've got their epic sound system hooked up to the horse and carriage, and Luke, a music connoisseur, has picked up my favorite song, Talking Heads Burning Down the House. But back at the tower, the Whisperers are breaking through like the mines of Mori. Instead of a cave troll, though, they have a nail bomb. Oh! While everyone else escapes, it's Father Gabriel staying behind to buy time, ready to make his last stand. Oh, Father Gabriel, looks like this is his death scene. And even though he's never been my favorite character, he's been around for so long and has evolved into kind of a cool dude. It's gonna be sad to see him go, but wait, what's this? Oh, he's saved by this crazy masked dude with ninja blades. And working with him is Maggie! Ah, she's back on the show! She finally got the letter about the Whisperers and came back to help, but with Finn, and who is her wild new friend? Elsewhere, the music gang is still leading the horde away, but unfortunately, Luke couldn't make a playlist. It's just the same song, which, even though I love it, would get annoying. But the more pressing problem is the Whisperer, now using the walkers as human shields, which is incredibly effective, actually. They managed to break down the cart and destroy the music, so the horde turns back around. Errol's like, alright guys, it's time for plan B. Sneak through the horde, killing the Whisperers. Yes, our gang can be just as stealthy and scary as they are. Then it's time for the final showdown between Beta and Negan. Yeah, Beta really hates him because he hooked and murdered his crush Alpha. He's about to kill Negan. Oh, it's Daryl coming in to save the day. Boom! Double knives to the face! Has this whole weird vision of Alpha and the zombies caressing him, but in reality, he's being torn apart. And with his mask off, Negan recognizes that he was a famous country. Daryl, though, not a music fan.
You know who that asshole was?
Yeah. No.
So as the resident zombie herding expert, Lydia's leading the horde off a cliff. Carol comes up, though, like, hey, I'll take it from here. I've lived through 10 seasons of this. I need to sacrifice myself. So is this where Carol dies? No! Grabs her at the last second. You can't die, Carol. We've just connected. Plus, it just got confirmed you and Daryl have your own spin-off series in the works. But she got close enough to the edge, the rest of the zombie horde lemminging themselves off the cliff. Lydia pulls out her mother's mask and tosses it off the edge, the end of the Whisperers. An epic cinematic moment, The Walking Dead reminding us that they can still be primetime TV. So our gang survived the Whisperers with very few casualties, no major characters. In fact, we've got +1 major character, cause now Maggie's back. And even though it's been announced that season 11 will be the final season, they're not done yet. Because who's this that's still alive? It's Zeryl's deaf girlfriend Connie. Yeah, she got trapped in the cave like a million years ago, but she's made it out. And who does she meet here but Virgil, the guy that Michelle with. Elsewhere, Eugene's crew is to meet his radio girlfriend for a hot date at the rendezvous, but they're way late. It doesn't seem like anyone's here. Eugene's not giving up hope, though. He has faith that his lady love is out there.
You're one morning.
But wait, what's this? There is someone here. It's a bunch of stormtroopers. What? Yeah, this is a serious new group, friend or foe. Find out next time on The Walking Dead. This was the season 10 finale, but only later, instead of season 11, they're just doing more of season 10. Whatever they call it, hit that subscribe, because when there's more Walking Dead, I'll be there recapping it, including the new spin-off series, World Beyond, which features the helicopters that took Rick. Plus, I will be doing individual episode recaps of The Walking Dead.